Chip Foose may be familiar to you from his popular show Overhaulin and his automotive design prowess. But as he attempted to strike a balance between his need for work and his celebrity, he had to face one of the most difficult periods of his life. Chip was struggling in his own life, while everyone else was watching a cheerful man on TV. From the amicable dissolution of his 30-year marriage to his father's agonizing passing, he experienced many difficult moments. Come discuss Chip Foose's tragic demise with us. Before becoming a household figure in the automotive industry, Chip Foose was a little child attempting to emulate his father. He is now well known for creating some of the most stylishly customized automobiles and serving as the face of the popular television program Overhaulin. However, like most success stories, there were some difficult times in the beginning. One of them, a horrific vehicle accident that altered his early life, he will never forget. In a previous interview, Chip shared an incident that shocked several of his friends. It was about his father's 1956 Ford truck, a vintage Rolls-Royce, and himself as a kid. All of this occurred during what was supposed to be an easy and enjoyable first driving experience. I drove that all over the airport grounds, and when I came in to park it, the stock wheels were still on. The day he taught me how to drive, he fixed up his 1956 pickup for me. I was attempting to turn it with my whole weight, while I had my foot on the brake. Additionally, my foot slipped off the brake and onto the gas as I spun the wheel. I struck a Rolls-Royce after the rear tires caught fire. How did your father behave? He turned off the truck because he was with me, I said. He remarked, well, you got 3. I hit the Rolls and pushed it into a Porsche. It hit another car? Yes. You should be aware that Chip's father, Sam Foose, was an excellent vehicle builder and the one who first sparked Chip's interest in cars if you want to comprehend the narrative completely. Growing up next to his father's yard, Chip developed an early interest in automobiles. That passion would develop into a full-time career that produced numerous well-known designs and memorable television sequences. Let's return to the narrative. Chip had the opportunity to drive his father's truck when he was very young. The 1956 Ford F-100 truck held special meaning for them as a family vehicle. Sam stored it close to an airfield structure where he also housed other vintage vehicles. On that day, Chip drove the truck through the broad space with ease, but when it was time to park, things went wrong. Because the truck lacked power steering, turning the wheel required a lot of effort, particularly when the vehicle was parked. Chip's foot slipped off the brake and struck the gas pedal despite his best efforts to turn the wheel. As one could expect, the outcome was disastrous. A Rolls-Royce and a Ford pickup truck collided. The Porsche was damaged when the Rolls-Royce struck it so hard. In a matter of seconds, all 3 of the cars involved in the collision sustained damage. Chip was astonished and afraid, and he was unsure of his father's next move. But Sam didn't scream or lose his temper. Silently, he murmured, well, you got all 3, and reached over to switch off the truck. Chip will always remember his words. It became an opportunity to learn. That one moment could have made Chip hate cars forever, but it didn't. Instead of punishing him, Sam gave him a lesson. Chip concluded that his path was shaped by his father's support in this way. He discovered that it's acceptable to make errors, and that what matters is what you do with them. Many years later, that same 1956 Ford pickup made an appearance at SEMA 2022. Chip had used both professional competence and family history to spruce it up so it looked current. At the Foose design display, the vehicle, now a stunning piece of art, stood with pride. Chip, however, saw it as more than a display. He began his journey with the truck's assistance. Chip purchased the truck from his father when he was just 13 years old, according to information on the Foose Design website. Either before or after the collision, it was evident that he had a deep affection for the truck. In an effort to preserve the family characteristic, he will now pass it on to his son, Brock. Although Chip's vehicle accident was a sad event in his life, a much worse event occurred in 2018. One thing remained in his memory for a long time. His father, Sam Foose, passed away following a protracted struggle with health issues. But first, let's understand some facts regarding the story. Sam started his journey in Korea, where he became proficient at repairing army vehicles. When Sam returned from serving his country, he married Terry. Together, they brought up 4 children. After leaving the service, Sam's passion for automobiles continued. In actuality, his reputation would be greatly influenced by what he did next. AMT, a reputable corporation in the automotive industry, hired him. He joined forces with Gene Winfield, another rock star in the automotive industry. Together, they created race cars, full-size concept automobiles, and even TV show cars. They contributed to numerous popular television programs, including Get Smart and Star Trek. Sam established himself in the sports car industry over the years. Because he worked hard, had a strong sense of style, and was skilled at doing tasks by hand, he was admired by many in the field. Teaching his son Chip Foose what he loved, however, was one of his greatest accomplishments. Chip learned from his father by observing him at work. After that, he began to follow his father's methods. Chip was well known in the automotive design industry by the early 1990s. He was obviously gifted and had benefited from his father's teachings. Over the years, Sam and Chip have collaborated on numerous projects. They were close as artists who shared a common language, in addition to being close as father and son. The two would frequently collaborate to complete any new project that arose. It made sense for Sam to participate when Chip was given the opportunity to host his own television program, Overhaulin. Joining the build team, Sam put his many years of knowledge to work repairing and creating stunning cars for the exhibition. Unfortunately, Sam passed away on November 28, 2018. When he passed away, the handcrafted vehicle industry lost a tremendous star. Those who knew Sam recognized him for more than his abilities. He was well known for his exceptional talent and sense of humor, which influenced a whole generation of automakers. The cars he helped build, and the principles he imparted to Chip, and the rest of the auto industry are testaments to his legacy. Chip and Samantha's marriage was already struggling when Sam passed away. He was going to lose everything he held dear, including his business, his children, and Lynn Foose. Let's begin at the beginning, though. Despite popular belief, Chip did not become famous overnight. His journey was fraught with hardships. His failures, financial difficulties, and misgivings might have caused him to give up. But through it all, his wife, Lynn Foose, supported him. Lynn, cheers. Because she had faith in Chip before anyone else did, she truly helped him achieve his objectives. Chip had a strong interest in cars while he was a college student. He learned how much he enjoyed planning, drawing, and building them from his late father. Chip, however, had to drop out of school in the midst of the year due to financial difficulties. It was a difficult period. He was stopped and unsure of how to proceed. But Lynn never lost hope in him. He was different, and she knew it. He was prohibited from attending college or getting married by Lynn. This implied that if Chip wanted Lynn to be his life partner, he would have to put in a lot of effort. Chip considered Lynn's rule. He decided to return to school because he wanted to be with her. Chip returned to school and enrolled in engineering courses. He worked on vehicles on the weekends and at night while attending classes during the day. It was difficult, but he persisted. Through the practical automotive projects, he maintained his connection to his passions while learning the necessary technical skills at school. In 1990, Chip received his degree at last. That was a proud moment in his life. Then he immediately proposed to Lynn. As you might expect, she said yes. After Chip got married, his career began to improve. He went to work at the well-known handmade car shop, Boyd Coddington's Hot Rod Shop. Working there taught Chip new things and improved his skills. In the late 1990s, Chip felt it was time to launch his own company. As usual, he was not alone. Lynn got her hands dirty and worked with him to build Foose design from the ground up. While Chip worked on the cars, Lynn handled everything else. She was in control of the books, the paperwork, the plans, and the clients. She maintained order and professionalism throughout. When TLC launched the auto repair program Overhaulin in 2004, the Foose's lives took a significant turn for the better. People on the show were taken aback when Chip and his crew completely changed the appearance of their cars. The show's concept was immediately popular. The heartwarming tales and incredible transformations were well received. The things they admired most about Chip were his calm demeanor and his kindness toward everyone. The show was receiving more than won by season 3. Every week, 5 million people watch. The 136 episodes of the show helped Chip gain popularity. He was considered an artist among automotive enthusiasts. His thoughts were tidy and elegant. Chip has numerous opportunities to collaborate with well-known figures in the industry because of the show's immense popularity. Businesses and organizations wanted to collaborate with him and get knowledge from him. He was glad to be in the middle, but the strain mounted. His filming schedule became hectic. He frequently had to move from one city to another. On some days, he worked up to 18 hours a day on the set. By the time he arrived home, it was too late to spend time with his family because they had put in long hours at work. Lynn had undoubtedly supported Chip from the beginning. She supported him, urged him to pursue his objectives, and even assisted him in managing the company. However, as time passed, their once sweet moments became nothing. Chip was not as present as he once was. Their conversations lasted less time. He missed a lot of significant occasions and stopped attending numerous family gatherings. The night of Katie's first school play was the most agonizing moment for Lynn. The Chip couldn't make it. As the lights went down and the show began, Lynn sat by herself in the crowd and made an effort to appear brave. On stage, Katie was so proud of herself that she occasionally glanced into the audience to see whether anyone recognized her father. But nobody was there to take his place. On stage, Katie smiled, but it was clear from her eyes that she wasn't sure what to do. Chip had to continue working and traveling since he was becoming more and more well-known. He didn't have time for his family, so Lynn started to feel overlooked. She was in love with Chip, but they were growing apart as their lives became increasingly unbalanced. It became evident that their marriage was struggling around 2012. Chip kept getting pulled away by his commitment to Overhaulin and other business endeavors. Chip occasionally made an effort to make up for lost time. To show his family how much he cared, he would organize quick getaways or buy them presents. However, even those acts began to seem like they were being performed constantly. Lynn wanted Chip to have more time, but he didn't. He never had enough time to complete what he had to do. When Chip started working on projects outside of Overhaulin, it got more harder. He collaborated with a number of automakers, introduced new product lines, and traveled the nation giving speeches. A fragile home life was further strained by all of these projects. Lynn had had enough of having to make adjustments all the time. For years, Chip had been convinced that hard effort was the only way to succeed. Now that he had done it, he had no idea how to quit. Lynn endured everything with patience. However, your patience is limited. She needed more than a spouse who returned home exhausted and departed again the next day. She needed someone who was totally there for her. Their emotional distance from one another continued to widen. They were separated by a great distance before they realized it, and the harm had already been done. Lynn Foose petitioned Orange County Superior Court to dissolve her marriage to Chip at the beginning of 2020. After over 30 years of marriage, it marked the end of a relationship that had experienced both highs and lows on the emotional and professional fronts. However, the Foose's divorce didn't involve any media drama or formal press announcements, in contrast to many prominent divorces. Like the majority of Lynn's life, it was silent. She felt neglected for years before deciding to get a divorce. The split caused Chip a great deal of pain. He had always praised Lynn and her assistance to him. When she departed, it was more than just the end of a marriage. It seemed as though everything he had based his life on was crumbling. In conversations following the separation, Chip made no effort to conceal his level of distress. He was candid about his lack of direction. The man was struggling to put his own life back together after helping others design their ideal autos. He compared the incident to a storm that rocked the world. He felt emotionally exhausted. His condition deteriorated. He found it difficult to focus on the current assignment. Designing automobiles used to bring him joy and serenity, but now it felt tedious. After the separation, he felt horrible about his heart, his work, and himself. Sometimes, he admitted, he felt as though he had lost everything. Chip discussed his mistakes during the interview, such as prioritizing his work over his family. He said, "Sometimes you don't realize how much you're leaving your family behind while you think you're doing everything for them." Chip struggled with the breakup, but he gradually recovered. He claims that his children have supported him through difficult times. They loved him and supported him, so they gave him the courage to start afresh. Additionally, he worked really hard and poured his emotions into his sketches. He turned to making cars as a means of recovery. He gradually started to restore his mental health as well as his reputation. One of the most recognizable brands in custom car construction is still Foose Design. Chip continues to attend car shows, draw passionately, and execute his concepts with the same meticulousness that brought him fame. Even if his path hasn't been straightforward, he persists, one concept at a time. Although Chip had a difficult divorce, he has since recovered and is still a powerful figure in the auto industry. However, he lost a very significant person in his life before to his divorce. Because of the way Jessie Combs transformed the show, many fans of Overhaulin would remember her. She was a TV personality and racer who made appearances on Mythbusters and other programs. She was attempting to set a land speed record when she was tragically killed in an accident. According to credible sources, Jessie aimed to surpass stuntwoman Kitty O'Neill's 1976 record of 512 mph for the greatest land speed by a woman. It might surprise you to learn that Jessie was already aware of speed records. In 2013, she achieved the title of fastest woman on four wheels by driving a four-wheeled vehicle at 398.5 mph. She had achieved faster timings during practice runs, but due to technical difficulties, those times could not be formally documented. She remained determined to break the record set decades earlier and go faster. Jessie uploaded photographs and comments on Instagram in the days before she died, giving indications about her ambitions and pleasure. In one post, she discussed defying expectations and pursuing her passions. She also discussed the dangers. She was aware of how risky the route she had taken was. Despite knowing that, she continued to pursue her passion. She crashed in the Alvord Desert in southeast Oregon while flying the North American Eagle Supersonic Speed Challenger. The machine resembled a fighter jet on wheels and was designed to go at high speeds. On the day of the collision, Jessie had already sprinted well and was attempting a second pass when something went awry. Reports suggest that the car's technical malfunction came after it sped across the desert floor. There was less opportunity of escape because of the increased likelihood of a crash. Additionally, trustworthy sources claimed that Jessie passed away at the crime scene. It was later discovered that a front-wheel system issue was the cause of the horrific collision. The rapid pace was too much for its strength. There was no way to survive the bomb because it was so powerful. Despite her premature death, she left a lasting legacy. She was the quickest woman on four wheels and never gave up on her dreams, according to Chip and other individuals.